Добрый день, Sergeant. Меня зовут Topolov. General Topolov. Rad видать, comrade. Your mission in the Ukraine is simple. Allied forces seek to challenge Soviet air supremacy. Right in our faces, they build MiG prototypes of their own. They test their new air fuel bomb. They test their chronosphere. The Govnyuks grow bold. There's got to be a settling of the score. Destroy the prototypes, but take the chronosphere. Purge the Ukraine of the Allied presence and the bastard behind the threat. Assassinate General Stavros, the Greek commander. До свидания. That is all.
A long-time thorn in our side, the Greek commander Stavros, has finally been cornered. He has taken refuge in an underground bunker full of his chronosphere technology. Prove to him that no Allied tricks can stop the wrath of the Soviet Union. Track him down and eliminate him. Return with results. We do not want to hear of his escape, only the creative manner of his demise. We have provided you with engineers that, given the opportunity, can use chronosphere technology. Do not squander them.
Commander?
Alright guys, here we go, the first Soviet mission of Counterstrike and Red Alert Remastered. Let's start by organising our teams. You can see Stavros running off to the north there. What we're going to do is send these dogs up to deal with these infantry. Now while they're in motion, I can safely use the dogs on them. But as soon as they stop, they become extremely vulnerable, the dogs.
Yes, sir. At once.
What I'm going to do now is move my engineers up to this control panel. I can activate these with any units, I don't need to rely on the engineers like I did in the main campaign. That's going to activate some gas, which is going to force that APC to withdraw, and Stavros is going to step back into his chronosphere there and reappear over on this side.
At once.
He's going to activate some gas of his own. I think it's going to be up here.
Agreed.
Meanwhile, some more soldiers are coming in from that direction. Let's have our dogs move up. We'll grab this invulnerability sphere and move in. You're going to stay back. There we go. Deal with them. Move up.
Waiting orders. Agreed. Very well.
Hellhounds here, colored red.
Agreed. Agreed.
Let's move on here. Can't really achieve much more with the invulnerability. It doesn't last long enough to get you anything. But what we can use is our super intelligent dogs here, I think, to take out that chronosphere. Speaking of, look, there's this barbed wire that we saw very briefly in a single mission
Yes,
in
Very well.
what's it called? Covert Operations.
Very well.
I pointed out at the time as the only time you'd see it, but it's in this mission as well. I don't know why they bothered to include such a rare thing, but whatever. Especially when there's other barbed wire in the game. I'm going to move my flamethrowers up here because they're going to be in range, in theory.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Okay, good.
Agreed.
You seem very close there. You should have, yeah, there we go. You should have been able to take him out from a much safer range than that.
Waiting orders. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Dogs, unfortunately, are going to miss their chance to get Stavros, who's going to go back into his chronosphere. Start playing with some more control panels. So you saw some toxic gas going to appear in the center here. In Remastered, those flares don't last very long, but that gas is going to remain in place. When we get to this room later on, we're going to need to move safely around the edges, otherwise we'll lose all our forces in the middle.
Ready and waiting. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Looking for some
Affirmative.
riflemen up here.
Affirmative.
Come on, where are they at? There they are. Saw them.
Affirmative.
Try and take them out from a safe range.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Another
Of
one.
course. Agreed. Agreed.
Okay, where are my engineers?
Yes, sir.
I've completely lost them. Oh, they're way back at the start here. Okay, well,
Affirmative.
Report
Whatever.
affirmative. Yes, sir.
we'll
Yes,
leave
sir.
these guys
At
here.
once.
These guys are going to continue to move to
At
the
once.
north.
Yes, sir.
You guys are going to come up to these control panels. In fact, no, I don't think either one of those does anything,
Affirmative.
so we will just move the engineers around to the left.
Reporting.
Team
Affirmative.
2, meanwhile, is going to keep pressing to the north.
At once. Affirmative.
They're a bit slow, but
At
they'll
once.
get there in the end. Their
Very
range
well.
advantage is going to help them
Very well.
take care of the enemy riflemen we might come
Affirmative.
across.
At once.
Come on, engineer.
At once.
Become.
Affirmative.
Here's an escape route for Stavros, so we're going to cut it off. These
Yes,
guys are going to move to the left here,
affirmative.
and they're going to spot a damaged chronosphere. There it is.
Engineering.
Let's send
Affirmative.
in an engineer.
Affirmative.
Here we go. Okay, and he's going to reappear on this side here, and we're also going to lose the chronosphere. It's no longer got its really cool kind of pulsing chrome effect that it did have back in the day. But whatever.
Agreed.
Now, crucially, we have an engineer up here, and what you can't see, but should be here, is toxic gas filling this area. So we need to quickly grab this crate, and then immediately move him through that area up to this control panel. I'm actually going to stop him a little bit short, just about here, because I don't want him to activate it just yet. Not until we finish clearing out the area.
Affirmative. Affirmative. At
There's
once.
one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very well.
Okay.
Very well.
Another.
Very well.
Thought I saw another guy there.
Very well.
Looks clear.
once.
Let's move in. Grab these
Affirmative.
healing crates here.
Affirmative. At
I think
once.
that's the same thing. Yes, it
Agreed.
is. Okay, we can pull back
Affirmative.
down.
Awaiting orders.
These guys are just in time to
Very well.
arrive. Engineer, you're going to activate this, and you're going to cause the whole base to start shutting down.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Okay, they're destroyed.
Acknowledged.
More forces coming
At
in.
once.
Alarms are going off. Stavros is now going to flee from here, and he's going to reappear up at the top here. But some troops are going to come in as well. We want our flame troops to move up to here. There are those troops. I guess we could just use the rifleman at this point. He's going to be stuck up there, unfortunately. We'll see if we can get through with just the flamethrowers. And then we'll unleash the dogs on Stavros.
Awaiting orders. Agreed.
You can see you get a lot more units than you really need. It's a very small,
Agreed.
short level.
Reporting.
I'll try go for no deaths on my part.
Affirmative.
Almost certainly not going to work when you're coming up against this many, but with the range advantage of the flamethrowers, could be possible.
Reporting and waiting.
Right, okay, let's move up.
Agreed.
Remember, that toxic gas is still here, whether you can see it or not. I imagine there's some very confused players going through this level for the first time
Affirmative.
in Command & Conquer Remastered, not understanding why all their units die when they step in the middle here,
At once.
or in fact, up at the top.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Should be out of range
yes,
here.
Sir. At once.
And again
yes,
here.
Sir. Very well.
A little bit too close, but that's alright.
Agreed.
Move these guys up
Agreed.
and around.
At once. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Move
Reporting.
down. You guys
At
can
once.
come up to here.
Waiting orders. At once. Affirmative.
You're going to move up.
Reporting.
Dogs, you want to come up as well.
Ready
I
and
should
waiting.
be able to get through this
Affirmative.
with the
Acknowledged.
flamethrowers.
Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative.
No point exploring to the right or to the south. There's nothing of interest down there. I think there's a bunch of troops with some chronospheres that they step through and then respawn up here, but no need to worry about that now at this stage.
Acknowledged. Agreed. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Inching a
Very
little
well.
bit closer.
Very
Oh,
well.
hang on though.
Affirmative.
Let's
At
keep that
once.
distance.
Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Awaiting
Oh,
orders.
no.
Affirmative.
Damn it, lost one.
Very well.
So
Affirmative.
close.
Course.
Right, you're going to pay for that, Stavros. Get him. Get him, my pretties. Yes.
Mission accomplished.
Beautiful. According to that cutscene at the end, they took him outside and shot him. Anyway, super easy mission, not that challenging as long as you know where you're going with it and how to get through the various toxic chambers. I'm moving on to the next set of Soviet missions. I'm going to complete all the levels in the Ukraine before I go back over to the Allied side for Siberia. They changed the order quite significantly in the Soviet mission. So next up is going to be Paradox Equation, which I think is the penultimate mission on the Soviet side in Counter-Strike originally. Then we're going to be going on to a pair of missions focusing on the Allied nuclear weapons. I think in the base game only the Soviets had that capability, but now the Allies are developing it too. It's never made explicitly clear how the expansion missions fit into the narrative. I've always seen this as like the last mission in the storyline because there's no other way that Stavros is alive to kill Stalin, and then you've also got Stalin mentioned in several of the much later missions in the Aftermath as well. So this can only take place right at the very end, by which point the Soviet Union's already kind of collapsed. If it happens any sooner, well, unless you consider the Soviet outcome to be the canon ending of the game. Be interesting to imagine that and see how the missions fit in that way, but I imagine there's just as many problems trying to go at it from that angle. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back soon.